Team Anthony Joshua, by way of Eddie Hearn, have announced that Kubrat Pulev will be AJ's next opponent. He said the following: AJ certainly doesn't want to let go of the titles in the ring or out of the ring. The IBF seems to be the one that was certainly ordered first, but I'll need to speak to IBF President Daryl Peoples. I'll need to speak to Paco Rabanne, head of the WBO. Joshua certainly wants to make sure he can keep every belt, so that's what he'll be trying to do. Now, in my mind, we've also heard from AJ. AJ said in one of his post-fight interviews that anyone can get it, they can all get it. Usyk can get it, Pulev can get it. And don't get me wrong, they all will get it. But strategically thinking, I think Pulev's the best bet for a number of reasons. Number one, Pulev, I watched the Klitschko versus Pulev fight way back when. Well, in fact, I watched it recently, but it took place 6 years ago live. But I watched it a few days ago, and that Pulev is like he almost had a magnet in his chin. Klitschko was jumping in with big leaping left hooks, and they were clipping Pulev on his chin. Couldn't hold the shot. Number one, and two, couldn't miss. His defense was leaky. He couldn't block a left hook to save his life, and that was in the prime of his life, by the way, at 33. Pulev's 40 now. If he can't block a left hook at 33, he ain't blocking a left hook at 40. Never mind by AJ as well. A much more deadly puncher, in my opinion, than Klitschko. A much more explosive inside fighter than Klitschko. So I think it makes perfect sense. Go in there with the heavy bag, because Pulev's is proper, like, it's a European heavy bag in that sense. It's got that kind of heavy bag Neanderthal build about him. And that's what I think will get AJ's KO juices flowing. One thing for sure, in my opinion, if they do choose to fight Pulev first, which it sounds like they will, because the IBF is the most strict of all the bodies. The WBO, they're malleable as you like. Look at what Fish Eyes does with the WBO. Frank Warren almost manages and orders around the WBO, so we know the WBO, they're not going to push anything. They like the money, but IBF, they're happy. They're the most integral of the lot, in my opinion. They're the ones who not too interested in the money. They'll just strip you straight up. So satisfy them, satisfy Pulev, and go to Usyk after. But the other thing I'll say is, Kubrat Pulev, to be fair, has had a mandatory option or mandatory position before, and he bottled it. So I don't really want another one of them ones where he says he wants it, they do a press conference, the fight comes, and we have to find an opponent with 5 weeks' notice. Although I guess we can't control that, but Pulev's a bit weird to me. He had the opportunity in 2018, and that's when Carlos Takam was brought in. So I'm not sure, if he didn't want it then, why would he want it now? Some people said he was injured. Maybe he genuinely was. I'm not so sure. But either way, Pulev's 40 years old. He's got loads of legal issues, so I'm sure he'll need the cash. So it makes sense that he'll want the fight. Anyway, going back to the technicalities of the fight. As I said, Pulev doesn't have the greatest chin. Pulev doesn't have the greatest defense. Pulev doesn't have the greatest movement. And he's much more stable than Usyk. He's got a lot less skill. Yeah, he's bigger, but he's bigger and more ponderous. I personally think the Usyk fight is more challenging for AJ. I think AJ dusts both of them off. But after coming off the Ruiz performance, where he showed he can outbox, I'd personally like AJ to see him put all of his repertoire together, put the boxing in with the inside fight and mix it all up perfectly. And how he'll do that, or the best stepping stone to putting his whole game plan together, or adding all of his skills together, will be the Pulev fight. Pulev will be literally a great opportunity to get some human heavy bag work going for AJ, in my opinion. He's not a Ruiz who's going to march forward. He's not a Fury who's going to dance around. He's that perfect kind of middle dude, that perfect heavy bag where AJ will be able to use all of his skills and open Pulev up. But ultimately, like I keep saying, I want AJ to go into this fight with Pulev with a particular mindset, not a 12-round mindset. He needs to go in there. I'm not saying, like always, I'm not saying go in there and just start swinging. I'm saying McCracken and AJ's team need to go in there, in my opinion, with a game plan of stopping Pulev. We've seen Klitschko do it. Klitschko stopped a man, Pulev, in his prime at 33. Pulev's now 40. Yeah? If Klitschko can stop Pulev at 33, AJ can maul him. Absolutely maul him. And Klitschko stopped him in 5 rounds. And it wasn't a load of punches either. Klitschko literally jumped in with big left hooks and that clipped him every time. Meaning that AJ can get on top of Pulev and put some good combos together and get him out of there. He doesn't have quick hands. He doesn't have combinations. There's no reason that AJ can't go in there and execute a stoppage game plan. And this fight with Pulev will really prove to me the next step. Almost like the final piece of the puzzle. Because me and some other people, we've kind of... You know what? We've kind of wondered about McCracken in as much as... Does he train AJ to be the most... to get the most out of his athlete, meaning that I get the feeling, I might be wrong, we'll see after the Pulev performance, but I get the feeling that McCracken always wants safety first. Now, I can understand to an extent, but number one, it's heavyweight boxing. Number two, sometimes people just need to get dusted out of there. You don't need to win fights. You don't need to just... Some opponents, you don't need to just win. Some opponents need to be finished. Pulev needs to be finished. He needs to be get up out of there. That's what needs to happen. And I think they need to practice that in the training gym. Yes, AJ, it's not rocket science. AJ can absolutely outbox Pulev for 12 rounds with his eyes closed, with one hand behind his back, literally. No word of a lie. I would back AJ to put a blindfold on and put both of his hands behind his back. And Pulev wouldn't land a glove, yeah. But Pulev needs to be get up all the way out of there, and I think this is a great stepping stone fight. Bust up Pulev and then bust up Usyk, and then no one else is gonna want it anyway. To be fair, no one ain't gonna want nothing to do with it. And lastly, big love to my Danizel Hidden Leaf for coming through and sponsoring man in the Patreon charity. Anyone else who wants to see bi-daily live streams with the YB and daily videos, come through patreon.com/the YB, and I'll catch you man there. Big love.